So we'll have a deeper discussion on Iran, EU-Iran policy in the very near future. On Africa, the European Union closely follows the crisis in eastern Congo. Ministers urge Rwanda to halt its support for rebels and withdraw its troops. Attacks on UN peacekeepers are unacceptable. In the Western Balkans, we continue to prioritize stability, and I'm glad to announce that the Council today appointed Peter Sorensen as the EU Special Representative for the Belgrade-Pristina dialogue. And finally, ministers also discussed the EU relations with the United States. The new administration policies have major implications on the European Union as the United States shifts to a more transactional approach. Europe needs to close ranks. We are stronger when we are united. That was the view that everybody shared. Europe is an economic heavyweight and geopolitical partner, and United States is our closest ally. Our adversaries are cooperating very closely, so should we. Europe and North America are stronger and safer together. So there were a lot of issues today, but we were quite effective, so thank you.
Thank you, High Representative. We now move to your questions. Please introduce yourself and the media that you're representing when asking your questions. And we do start with Noureddin Al Arabiya.
Noureddin Fridi from Al Arabiya News Channel. Madam High Representative, I have a couple of questions on the sanction of Syria. Would you please elaborate which economic sector that will be, where the sanction will be lifted or suspended? Among these sectors, are you including today the political agreement on the banks plus energy and transport? Could you elaborate on that? And my second question is about the United States suggestion to transfer part of the Palestinian population from Gaza to Sinai and probably from the West Bank to Jordan. Both countries, Egypt and Jordan, refused that categorically yesterday and today. What is the European Union reaction to this suggestion, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, we have a lot of sanctions for Syria. So we have grouped the sanctions so that to make these roadmap step-for-step approach really to start with the sanctions that are most hindering the early build-up of the country and to move from there. What we are not relieving, of course, is anything related to really arms and arm dealing and everything that we are still concerned of the radicalization and what might happen. So right now we have a political decision, we have the roadmap, we have a step-for-step approach, so that if we see some steps going in the right direction, we are also willing to ease the next sanctions. What I must say is that this is a political agreement. There are also technical issues to be solved, but I hope, because the political will is there, that these issues will be solved in the weeks. And your other question, sorry?
The question is about United States suggestion. President Trump suggested that part of the Palestinian people could be transferred to Sinai and probably to Jordan. Both countries refused that categorically. Thank you.
Yes. I think Palestinian people have suffered a lot, and both the Israelis as well as the Palestinians really deserve peace. Right now we have the ceasefire in place, but it requires also the next steps to be taken so that the peace would be permanent, that there's stability and peace in the region. And that, from our point of view, requires the two-state solution, and that requires that the two states are more equal basis. And that's why also European Union is supporting Palestinian Authority, is supporting humanitarian aid, Gaza, UNRWA, for that matter, that all these services are provided to the people in need there. So this is our approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mattia Ansa.
Hello, hi Rep. This is Matteo Bagnoli, ANSA, the National Italian News Agency. My question is about Greenland. First, I want to ask if the issue was discussed today, perhaps at lunch. And secondly, General Brigger yesterday spoke about a possible military mission there with some sort of Team Europe approach. Do you agree? Could this be the smart move to placate Trump, so to speak? Thank you.
Thank you. If I will tell you what we discussed over lunch, then you will ask whether we discussed other issues. But we discussed European and United States relations and how we should really either change our policy or not change our policy towards the transatlantic relations. And also we discussed what the new administration and the cooperation with the new administration, how it would look like. It is clear that we are strong also in Europe when we are together, when we are united, also supporting each other in whatever hardships there are for different member states. But it's also crucial that the United States is our important ally, and we need to cooperate with them on several issues. So it was a very interesting discussion, a lot of good ideas on the table, how we could also enforce our policies so that we are looking at it from the side of Europe, not so much reacting to what the United States is doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Philippe Jacquet, Le Monde.
Okay. Philippe Jacquet, Le Monde. In English, it's easier, I guess. First, on Syria, you weren't really precise on the sectoral sanction lifting, if you could elaborate more. And second, on Congo, I was wondering if you foresee a role or a function for EU to try to mediate what's going on in Eastern Congo.
On Syria, so as I say, we have a lot of sanctions in place, and there are different levels. So I don't know if that is in Europe is everything is public. So I guess this document will be public as well, the roadmap with different steps. So I took all the papers, but I didn't take this very exact one, and I don't think that I have the time to go over it all. But the meaning is that we start with the sanctions that are really hindering the build-up of the country. I mean, energy was there, and what else? But it's a step-for-step approach. So really, we need to see the developments going to the right direction. On Congo, we had a very brief discussion. So attacking United Nations peacekeepers is totally unacceptable. That was clearly voiced, and a lot of concern what is really happening. So of course the question for us is what kind of role can we also play there? But all these events are very quickly developing on the ground, and we are trying to send signals to Rwanda, Congo, what we want to see and how we don't want to see any escalation of the situation. But as you know, it's very complicated. Thank you.
Thank you. Jorge, Euronews.
Hello, High Representative Jorge Liboreiro with Euronews. I wanted to follow up on Matthias' question on Greenland, because obviously you described the US as your closest ally, but at the same time, this closest ally is making a very big threat against the integrity of the European Union, or at least one of its member states, regarding Greenland, taking Greenland by force if necessary. Do you think the European Union should take this threat seriously, that they should start preparing for a military invasion of Greenland, or do you think Trump is somehow bluffing and trying to make a deal that even might be detrimental for the European Union? What's your position exactly? And if you could tell us if you're ready to make a trip to Washington anytime soon to meet the new administration. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think what is clear for everybody is that the new administration really speaks the language of transaction, and that means negotiating always on different issues. So we need to speak that language as well. In negotiations, it's always a question whether you reveal your hand and the positions where you go to the negotiations, or you don't, because that weakens your hand, if I may say so. So I think. One foreign minister said also that we should, of course, listen to what the United States president is saying, but maybe it is not always necessary to take all the words word by word. But clearly we are, listening what they are saying. What comes to our relations, then I've extended invitation to Secretary of State Marco Rubio to also join the Foreign Affairs Council to explain the views of United States, and I'm also willing to visit Washington as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Over there, next to the mic, indeed.
Thank you, Tamara Nutsubidze, independent journalist from Georgia. On behalf of many Georgian journalists, we want to express our full solidarity and support to our independent colleague Zia Amaglobeli. She is under illegal detention already 16 days, and she is on a hunger strike. So what's your opinion about situation in Georgia regarding independent and critical journalists? And the second question, we saw release from European Union about decision to suspend visa facility agreement for some kinds of diplomatic passports and also service passports owners. So when this decision will work, from which time we can expect this decision in working? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we are following the developments in Georgia closely, and we see this with great concern, of course, what is happening. So that's why we also discussed this today. What more can we do to send signals to Georgian government that this is not really going to the right direction in terms of the European path? And of course, there are also things that we can weigh. What more can we do? What comes to the visas or the visa liberalization suspension, then the decision was adopted today, and now it's for the member states to implement this in the internal rules. So this is how Europe in this regard works. Mm-hmm.
Reuters.
Thank you, Andrew Gray from Reuters. High Representative, you mentioned that you agreed to roll over the sanctions against Russia and how important that was. One member state, of course, until today was reserving its position, that's namely Hungary, and it agreed to change its position after a statement from the European Commission. Does that statement actually mean anything in concrete terms? Did Hungary get anything out of this, or is this just the European Commission doing its job?
Well, it meant to Hungary, so that mattered.
On the road just in front of, yes, please.
Hi, Beatriz Rios with the Washington Post. I have two questions on EUBAM. I was wondering whether the deployment of the mission is a precondition to reopen the Rafah border. And also, could you give us a little bit more details about the mission? When is it meant to be deployed? Whether it's going to have a limited role for the transfer of injured people, or it's going to go forward into trying to transfer also humanitarian aid, whether it's going to stay in time? What are the details that we can know about the mission? Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yes, the EUBAM Rafah mission, so we had the invitation letters from both Palestine as well as Israel, also Egypt agreed to this, and saying that this is important for the implementation of the ceasefire as well. So we had a mission before, so we are redeploying the mission within the same mandate that we had, and if I remember correctly, it's starting already from February. So the people are ready to go and start work.
Thank you. One last question will go on the back over there. David.
Thank you. David Carretta, Radio Radicale, Italian Radio. A clarification on the statement that you issued today for Hungary. Are you asking Ukraine to reopen the gas pipeline that was basically closed because the contract with Gazprom expired? And the second clarification, if I may, you said that the EU should speak the same language of transactional language of the Trump administration. Do you mean that the EU should negotiate the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Denmark with the US? And what are the consequences of that for the international order and for what Russia is doing in Ukraine? Thank you.
Okay, first on the statement. So it was a statement of energy solidarity with landlocked countries. So this is what it's meant to be, and it has points also referring to Repower EU that is also saying that we should get rid of the Russian fossil fuels and provide more or help with the diversification of the energy picture. Yes, on the negotiation comment, so no, we are not negotiating on Greenland. Of course, we are supporting our member state, Denmark, and its autonomous region, Greenland. But we shouldn't also go into speculation about what ifs, because this is not the situation right now. What I meant with my comment was more general. This is the language that we have understood that the new administration speaks. So we should also take into account what is our strength. We are an economic power. We are very much interlinked with America, all the economic relations that we have, the different relations regarding security, regarding different important connections that we have with America. So it's not so that America does not have interests in Europe. We are very much interlinked, and this means that we also have something in our hands. It's not like somebody's telling us what to do and we are following, but we are also strong, and we shouldn't underestimate our own power when it comes to whatever, talking to partners, but also acting towards our adversaries.
Merci et bonne soirée.
Till next time.